Hey guys, it's Amber. So today we're ready for another anti-haul and what I'll be using instead. So before I begin, I want to get your guys' feedback. So I know the anti-haul thing kind of blew up and a lot of people took it in a much different direction than I did, where I'm shopping my stash. I like to find new releases that I may or may not want to purchase, and then instead of buying them, I like to find things in my stash to kind of replace them or say, this is what I'm going to use. They're not exact dupes, they're not quality dupes or high-end to low-end dupes. It's just kind of like, hey, instead of buying this, I'm going to save my money and I'm going to use this instead because I already have this and I might as well get use out of it instead of buying other things that are so similar. Now, of course, I like to buy makeup. I shop for makeup. I like to review makeup. So I always am continually buying things to purchase. But there is a point where it gets a little unnecessary for me to buy makeup because I am just a real normal person. So this is my way to kind of rein myself. So with that, my question is, I feel like the term anti-haul has gotten such a negative, like brand bashing kind of reputation that I don't know if I want to continue to call these videos anti-hauls. I don't know if I should just drop anti-haul and call it what I'm using instead, new releases, or, you know, something else. Like, what do you guys think? I mean, I know the anti-haul is super huge, but I feel like now it's kind of like people either love it or they hate it. And I feel like there's some people who would actually enjoy my anti-hauls if they gave it a chance, but because they've seen more negative ones, they don't want to watch them. So let me know what you guys think, and if you think I should retitle it or not, and if I do retitle it, what do you think I should call it? Of course, the things I'm not showing you are going to be the perfect dupes as far as cost. There's going to be palettes that I show you that I have that are going to be more expensive than what they're duping. That's not the point. The point is, when you see new releases, why don't you look through your stash, see what you have, and pull out something to use instead of just spending more money on things that you might already have something else. A lot of times we get sucked into the whole repackage, redone, same color switched around, and companies are so into this YouTube thing and they see how much people are buying that sometimes they just kind of boggle it all together, switch it up, and then give it to us again, and people still buy it. So that's kind of my thought, and I'm not promoting that you go out and buy my dupes. I'm saying look in your collection and see if you have the same things. And some of you might have these palettes already. Maybe you thought, I never thought about using that instead. That's a great idea. That's what we're kind of going for here. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, first off, we have the Tarte Flower Power. This is the Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust palette. Now, this palette, it's so funny because I am a girly girl at heart. So even though it looks very childish, I don't hate it because that's who I am. But I can see how for the average woman, it might be a little off-putting to have like a snow globe effect on your palette and your makeup. So I don't know. I think they kind of missed the mark with this one just because I think so many people don't like it, even though I do. But again, you look at the shades, they are pinks and mauves and light shades. Nothing that we haven't seen before. Nothing that we haven't seen before from Tarte. The other thing I'm curious about, and I like Tarte, I like their products, is to me it doesn't seem very useful to make this an eye and cheek palette. If you're going to make something an eye and cheek palette, give me some squares, give me some bigger squares that I can work with, that I can put my brush into, because there's these like little petal shapes, which is cute. I do like the look of it, but it says eye and cheek. And I'm like, am I going to take my little tiny blending brush and stick that in there and then put my blush on that way? I'm not really sure about that one. But anyway, it's $39, and let's be honest, this palette doesn't get as much love as it should. I knew that shade was broken and I just haven't replaced it yet. Love as I Apparently, this had a little rough time in the move because all the pans be falling out. Let's try this again. Strapped in. This palette doesn't get as much love as it should, and it doesn't have as many bright, vibrant pinks, but this color right here, which is called Buzz, is still a very pretty, very shimmery pinky purple, which definitely gives me the same vibes as the Petal Collection. So I'm going to save my coin, and I'm going to use this instead. All right, next, the Urban Decay Born to Run. Honestly, I can say this is one that I like. I think that Urban Decay finally gave people something they want. It's a big palette. It's got lots of colors. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like this is something lots of people could use. But yeah, I don't feel like it's very hyped up. Like, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I don't know. It just seemed like Urban Decay had its moment where it was like, first it was MAC, and then it was Urban Decay, that it was like the it company. And now I feel like it's kind of just gone by the wayside, I guess. Now this doesn't have as many warm colors, like the oranges and stuff like that. But it does have the blues, greens, and purples, and a nice pink. So I can still grab to this. This is a holiday collection from several years ago. And it's got a nice variety of shades. So if I'm really wanting to get this, I bet I could just pull this out instead. The Urban Decay palette is $49, so it's pretty on par with their other palettes. It does have a lot of shades, but again, even though it's a good looking palette and I'm drawn to buy it, do I need it? No, I don't. I don't need it. All right, next is the Violet Voss Flamingo palette. This is $45, and again, this is a gorgeous palette. It's got brights. It's got variety. It's like, it doesn't just look like 50 shades of mud. It's beautiful. And I just think, you know, now I'm someone who actually likes to wear color on my eyes, but I know not a lot of people do. So if you're not a color lover, this is a complete pass. But this is one that I've seen duped a lot on Instagram with singles. If you have a lot of singles, there's no reason why you can't go through your singles and kind of say, okay, that green, that pink, that this, that this. A lot of people are actually loving using singles more and just putting them in different palettes themselves than actually buying actual palettes. Because really, if you had a full collection of singles, whether they were Makeup Geek, Coastal Scents, these are Coastal Scents, you really could probably dupe almost a lot of palettes anyway out there. And so I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to use my singles and see if I can come up with some fun color looks on my own. Next is from MAC. These are the Oh Sweetie glosses, and all they are cute and they look like donuts. They're $17 and they're basically a lip gloss. I have a hard time. I mean, there are a few lip products that I've spent more money on than I should have, but at the end of the day, MAC glosses tend to be a little sticky, and for $17 and you want to probably buy a couple colors, I mean, really, can't any little standard gloss work? I mean, this is NYX Butter Gloss. It's like maybe $6 or $7. I know it's not as like sparkly and shiny, but I mean, I get those ones from Shop Miss A, and I know some people are against buying cheap makeup, and that's fine. But the point is I really don't need to buy those. They're not cruelty free. They're very cute, and I think that's why people love them. And there are some die-hard MAC collectors out there. Let me tell you, on Instagram, it's like MAC Mondays is a thing. But for me, nah. All right, so let's talk about it. The Jaclyn Hill Vault.
Hey guys, as you know, Morphe has come out and said that they are going to delay the production of the Vault due to some quality inconsistencies. So I obviously didn't know that when I filmed this video, so I just wanted to update you if you did not know that the launch of this product has been delayed. We're not sure about what the packaging and everything is going to be like then. So this is just my thoughts on the initial launch that was supposed to happen.
There's lots of opinions on this because there's some people who are going to be like, take my money now, take my money now. Do I love my original Jaclyn Hill palette? Yes, I do. I do actually really like this palette. Now there's going to be some who, if this was Jaclyn Hill palette volume 2, would they be all over it? Yes. And this is kind of like that, but they brought it out in a different format. So instead, you have 4 palettes included in the Vault, which is $49, but you have, I just realized there's literally no pictures of the palette on her Instagram. So I'll go to Trend Mood. She always has lots of posts of different makeup releases. So we have a purple palette called Bling Boss. We have a warm palette called Ring the Alarm. We have a green dark palette called Dark Magic. And we have a orangey green palette called Armed and Gorgeous. Do I think the price point is good? Yes. Each palette has a mirror in it, and they're $15. They're supposedly the same formula. Now, I'm taking out the point of Jaclyn Hill. Some people love her, some people hate her. I totally get that. There's some people who would never give her a penny of their money. They would never buy Morphe. Morphe's crap. Morphe's wonderful. Everyone has different opinions about that. But just for the value of the palette, For me personally, would it be worth $15? Yes. I think it's a good price point. That being said, do I need it? No, I don't. So, even though this is something that I'm like, ugh, a little torn because I do like the original, I'm just like, I don't really need it. So, I started going through it. First one, Armed and Gorgeous. You know, it's got that green and it's got that orange and it's got that gold, but I've got subculture. I mean, if I'm wanting those orange and gold tones, I can go for this palette. Now, if you were someone who hated subculture and you like these tones, maybe this is a good choice for you. It's cheaper. Obviously, this one's more expensive. The point of being is I own this one, I don't own this one. So for me, savings to pass on the Armed and Gorgeous. The next one is Ring the Alarm. And I just thought, this is kind of an unnecessary palette. Because it's basically like, how come no one's talking about this? It's basically this part of her palette. If she really did formulate these shadows all at the same time, they've got to just be a hair darker or lighter than these. I don't see how you could create any more warm shades than is in this already. Because you mean, you cover this up and I'm like, how could it be any different than these ones? Like, and I'm not even using these ones enough. So the purple one is probably the one that tempts me the most. And for $15, obviously it wouldn't break the bank. This is Bling Boss. I love the purple shades, but I did recently get this Athena palette. It's a dupe knockoff copy, whatever you want to call it, for the Desert Dust Huda Beauty palette. This has those gorgeous purple tones. It's got some shimmery shades, and I really love the purple looks that I get out of this, so I just don't know that I really need to buy another purple because I really like these. And finally, Dark Magic. I have to be careful opening this because one of the shades is broken, but if I want that blue-green action going on, look, I mean, right here, you got those smoky colors. So, and you think, well, you've got a shimmery taupe shade in there. And to me, honestly, it looks really similar to some of these like kind of taupey Colourpop shades that I've already had. There's also some in the Golden State of Mind that kind of have that taupey, silvery goodness. So again, is it a good value? Yeah. But do I need it? No. So $49 plus shipping, saved. All right, next we have the Dominique Cosmetics, the Lemonade palette. And this is a cute palette. It's got some variety. It doesn't just have your like standard rosy neutrals or brown neutrals. You know, you got some pops and colors. This was one that was like a little harder for me to do because I was just like, oh, what could I use instead? Now this one's going to be a little bit of a reach because these are pastels. So I know this is not similar. This was a hard one for me to find anything similar. I mean, not even dupes isn't even a question. They're not even close to dupes. It's just something I can use instead. But, you know, I'm looking at, you've got the orange, you've got the yellow, you've got a little bit of this blue, you know, this ethereal right there. And, you know, you don't have a pink, but I thought, well, I've got enough pink single shadows that I feel like I really don't need it. So, even though it is a little more unique in my perspective, it's still $42 and I still have a lot of makeup. Next is the Tarte Aspen Ovard Eye and Cheek Palette. This is $39 and the packaging is beautiful, but it is very underwhelming. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, really? Really, Tarte? Like, you literally are, the Fairy palette and this palette are like both kind of rosy neutrals. Again, this palette, if you are tempted to buy this one, the Carly Bible palette is being clearanced out. They're no longer making it. So you can get this on Ulta for $13.50. It's got a lot of these rosy tones. It's got the eye and cheek thing going on. And I already have it. And I like this palette. I feel like I need more eyes is how I feel when I do these videos. Because I think, oh, I love this. Oh, I love this. I love this. I love it all. But I don't need it all. Alright, so next let's get into some Colourpop. Colourpop palettes, again, they're super affordable. These are both $16. First, we've got the Kathleen Lights Dream Street. It's got those blues and oranges, and when I got this one's BoxyCharm, I was like, girl, Kathleen Lights is wearing these same colors more than once. Because this is a palette that she is actually, like, collaborating with them, or she was in their promo. And it's the same blues and oranges. So I was like, Dream Street, this in my BoxyCharm. I've already got this, so no point in purchasing that. Obviously, that one's been out for a little while, but it's something I don't have, and now I've got something kind of similar. And the next one is the Fortune palette. The Fortune palette is really pretty. It has colors that I'm drawn to, those warm colors. It has this kind of one that looks a little duochrome-y, a nice little bit of gold in there. I pulled out my Modern Renaissance and I thought, you know what, it's not quite right. Then I pulled out the Kitten palette from Winky Lux and I thought, there's a pink and some duochrome, and I think, yeah, I can work with that. I can work with that. So obviously this is more expensive than the Fortune palette, but I own it. So $300 already saved. As far as if I was to buy all these things, like $300, which I can spend on who knows what, things that I probably actually need, would be good, right? Last but not least is the Life's a Drag Lunar Beauty palette. I'm not a fan of Manny. I'm not subscribed to him. I've never watched his videos. As he says, if you don't effing like it, don't effing watch. Well, I don't effing watch because I don't like saying that, okay? So I feel like this palette is very interesting, and I'm not here to drag it. I like where he was going with the fact that everyone complains that all these influencers come out with neutral palettes. I just wish that he would have maybe done some more colorful looks beforehand, or shown more of an interest in drag, or talk more about it, because I feel like people are feeling like this is coming out of left field and they're just not sure about it. I also think aesthetically it looks like two separate palettes, so I personally would have just mixed the colors together, but that's neither here nor there. The reviews that I've heard on the actual palette are good. People like it. It's pigmented, and like I said, I'm not here to drag it. Those are just my first initial impressions. I don't think he's copied anyone else. I don't think he copied Sugar Pill or anything else. I think these are just, this was his idea. This was his baby. I feel like he probably took a lot of time and effort and energy into it, but it's just not something that I'm interested in buying. Honestly, if I want to dupe the neutral half, I mean, let's be honest, I can dupe it with 50 palettes, okay? If I want to get a nice bright colorful look, I've got a lot of brights. This is the e.l.f. Matte for Matte. These aren't quite the bright pastels, but you guys know I've got that Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca. I've shown that time and time again. It's got those light, bright pastel colors. I've even got my Vice that has a ton of colors in this as well. So you can see that I've got a ton of different shadows. I really don't need any more brights, and it's just not something I'm really drawn to. But that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! She's awake. Yes.
Me want saltines.
Okay, I'll get you some. I'm going to take a thumbnail. Whoa, 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 whoa. I need to take a thumbnail.
What thumb?
Okay, not a thumbnail. Like literally a thumbnail. Okay? See, I hold up all these things and I'm like, let me make a funny face like this. You like that? Wait, I can see your little blonde head.
Ah.
You're very cute though. I love you.